green and moldy looking lighting and stuff like that where it goes down, and there's just been a guy living down there for 3 years, and he's like accepted life down there.
I also love the initial shot, and this is where I started to get like, because like we said, the first part of this film is more just like a drama, a bit of a satire. But then there's the shot where it reveals the man's like half of his head up beneath the stairs to the basement, and then he disappears. And your brain just goes, "What movie am I all of a sudden watching?"
Yeah.
You know, he
right, because that's the part where it's a flashback where he scares the kid because the guy came up in the middle of the night for food, but the kid doesn't know there's a guy living in his fucking basement.
Right. So you have this, and it's kind of like a horror movie at just for that shot. You kind of get this really creepy, like, who the fuck is in the house? And that was kind of my start to, oh, this is a lot deeper than just like a class satire, you know? Like, and it is that, but I didn't think it was going to go to like subterranean levels and stuff.
But yeah, like it's really genre bending, like the way that it moves through, like, again, sort of like there's that heist element where they are weaponizing like transactional relationships, where it is like the relationship is between people, but really it is an economic relationship, which is kind of like what ends up resulting in the violence of the film, we will say, is because obviously it's really shitty to be on the end of someone is really your boss, but you're talking to them like they're a person and they're not talking to you like a person. And that ends up kind of like fueling some of the anxieties of the film. But then it takes that into like realms of, sometimes it's horror, sometimes it's just like a full-blown amazing, like almost like suspense action sequence, but like on a small scale, like the one where they're partying it up and then they find out about the subterranean layer, and then they start fighting with the other working people who were in the subterranean layer, and then while that fighting is happening, the family comes home. And like that bit where it's just incredibly tense, where they're trying to like rip those guys downstairs and everyone get hidden and clean up.
Is
all
this
the
where
shit
the
that they
guy
made.
falls down the stairs too and hits his head off the
concrete?
This there's something about just those violent moments that are so surprising, sudden, because the rest of the film isn't that way. It's very just kind of witty, and you see the plotting.
Right, like it's kind of light, like you think like it's not going to go there, and then all of a sudden,
but then it does.
Well, because it's the woman. She's running up the stairs trying to like reveal to the family what's going on.
Right.
And the mom of the poor family, as she's running up the stairs, she comes out of that black void, that same black void the other guy came out of, and she just kicks her down the stairs, and then she rolls down, smashes her head on like the concrete wall there. And she slowly just like dies from her concussion or whatever that she got. She dies on the floor while they tied up the husband to watch her die, basically, not knowingly, but that's what that family did. That was the consequences of it. And this leads to my favorite scene in the movie, actually, which is the scene where it's a perfect representation of what Bong is doing. And by the way, it's also all sets, which actually blew my mind when I heard this.
That does blow my mind. I had no idea.
But the scene where they sneak their way out because the family came home because it was raining out, and it ruined their sort of like camping trip that they were going on for the weekend.
Right.
So they drive home, and that's what kind of sparks all the families kind of like fighting and all of this. But when they leave, they show you that the rain ruined their camping trip, but the two parents are sleeping on the couch. They're getting frisky on the couch. The kid is sleeping in the Native American tent outside with his walkie-talkie, just chilling. Like they're having like a cute, like, oh, it ruined our camping trip, but we're having like a makeshift camping trip almost.
Right.
And then what happens is the poor family leaves because they can't get caught. Like they were taking advantage of being in the mansion for the weekend, thinking they had it to themselves the whole weekend. So they book it out of there so they don't get caught, and reveal that they are actually all a family and not individual people that the family has just hired. And as they move, they go further down. Like they go down the driveway, they go down the road, they go down to the point where they hit the poor community that is like completely flooded. Like their home is basically like destroyed. Their little like basement apartment that they were in. Everything is flooded. There's fucking like shit coming out of the toilet while the girls like trying to sit on it. They're trying to save all of their stuff, and then they're spending the night in a gymnasium so they don't die. And by the way, that entire trip, the steps and stuff out, I'm saying like it's a set as they're like going into like the alleyways that are flooding and everything. and it's
crazy.
it's all done in like a sequence of shots where again a rain to the rich people looks like, oh, it's a cute ruined our camping trip, and then to the
Yeah.
poor people it's like
It's
life
ruined their
and death.
lives. Yeah.
And I like that it's where the dad gets really like sentimental too, and talks about he was just like, I've always considered this idea of having a plan, of having a scheme, of like, this is how you get successful, this is how you get a better life. And then he was like, clearly it doesn't work because nobody here had the plan of almost dying and sleeping in a gymnasium for the entire night, which
Yeah.
is like a really powerful thing that he says to the kid, and which results in them making the decisions where some violent interactions happen.
Yeah.